Stage 0. Think of Stage 0 as the renaissance of your car. While Stage 1 is about adding power, Stage 0 is about reclaiming it. In car culture, specifically within the JDM and Euro scenes of the late 1990s, this was the golden rule. You don't build a skyscraper on a swamp, and you certainly don't slap a 1000 turbo on a tired 1994 Supra with 30-year-old brittle vacuum lines. Stage 0 is the meticulous, almost spiritual process of restoring your machine to its factory-perfect baseline before you ever think about turning a single performance bolt. We're talking about hunting down the silent killers, cracked rubber hoses, fouled spark plugs, and gunked-up fuel injectors. It's about ensuring your 302Z GTE or your Honda B16 engine is actually breathing the way the engineers intended back in the day. Did you know that by simply refreshing your ignition coils and cleaning the mass airflow, or MARIF sensor, you can often gain 15 to 20 horsepower that had simply evaporated over a decade of neglect? It's not magic, it's mechanical integrity. Back in 2001, when the first Fast and Furious dropped, the real tuners in the underground scene knew that a car running at 100% health was always faster than a poorly modded one struggling at 70%. Even the legendary McLaren F1, which commanded a staggering $50,000 price tag in 1992, utilized a Stage 0 mindset for its thermal management. Gordon Murray didn't use 16G of 24 karat gold foil in the engine bay just for flexing. It was the most efficient heat reflector known to man, ensuring the BM Source V8 performed at its peak without melting the carbon fiber chassis. Stage 0 is that same raw respect for physics and engineering. It's the ritual of flushing old fluids for high-grade synthetics and ensuring your tires aren't hockey pucks from years of dry rot. It's the emotional bond of fixing small oil leaks before you chase big boost peaks. Ultimately, Stage 0 is about making your car reliable enough to be thrashed on a Saturday night, then driven to work on Monday morning without a check engine light staring you in the face. Stage 1. Tross snorts are trod in the universe of automotive performance. Stage 1 serves as the ultimate gateway drug. If Stage 0 was the restoration of the machine's soul, Stage 1 is the liberation of its mind, specifically the electronic control unit, or ECU. Back in the mid-2000s, as manufacturers began stuffing turbochargers into almost everything from hatchbacks to luxury sedans, they intentionally left a massive amount of safety power on the table. This was a buffer to account for poor quality fuel in developing markets or neglected maintenance by casual drivers. Stage 1 is the master key that unlocks that hidden vault of potential. The crown jewel of this phase is the ECU remap. By rewriting the proprietary software code that dictates fuel-to-air ratios, boost pressure, and ignition timing, you aren't just tuning. Take, for instance, the Volkswagen Golf GTI Mark V. When it debuted in 2004 with a starting price of around $24,000, it was an instant icon. However, for a mere $600 investment in a Stage 1 flash, an owner could instantly bump the output from a modest 200 horsepower to nearly 250 horsepower. This software optimization is so potent that many modern manufacturers now sell the exact same engine across different trim levels, charging customers a $5,000 premium just for a factory installed Stage 1 map. To complement this electronic surge, we introduced the cold air intake. Most factory airboxes are designed to be whisper quiet, utilizing convoluted plastic baffles and restrictive paper filters that prioritize silence over speed. Replacing them with a high-flow mandrel bent aluminum intake allows the engine to inhale cooler, oxygen-dense air. The true transformation, however, isn't just the 10 to 20% power gain, it's the visceral auditory shift. Suddenly you hear the mechanical of the bypass valve. A sound engineer spent thousands of hours trying to hide behind plastic shrouds. By the early 2010s, this became the mandatory first step for every Subaru WRX or Mitsubishi Evo enthusiast. It is the most sophisticated way to outrun a base Porsche Boxster of the same era without ever having to unseal your engine block. Stage 2. Stage 2 is where your machine finally sheds its factory muzzle, trading suburban politeness for the raw, uninhibited roar of a true street warrior. If Stage 1 was a software update, Stage 2 is a physical awakening that shatters the limitations imposed by strict environmental regulations. This is the sweet spot of the tuning world, the moment your daily driver crosses the line into a serious performance machine that makes both your heart and the pavement tremble. To dominate this level, we must execute a pincer movement against the two greatest enemies of speed, back pressure and thermal soak. The centerpiece of this transformation is the high-flow downpipe. On modern turbocharged vehicles, the factory downpipe is clogged with a dense catalytic converter that acts like a literal chokehold on the turbine's neck. By swapping this for a wider high-flow unit, you allow exhaust gases to scream out with zero hesitation. Interestingly, a turbocharger's true genius is actually dictated more by how fast it can spit air out than how much it can suck in. When you pair this with a full cat-back exhaust system, you don't just gain a thunderous, aggressive tone that echoes through tunnels. You drastically reduce turbo lag, making the car feel alive and predatory the second your foot touches the floor. Then comes the front mount intercooler. As you push more boost intake, air temperatures can soar past 300 degrees Fahrenheit, becoming thin and volatile. Upgrading to a massive, high-efficient intercooler acts like a cryogenic chamber, dropping those temperatures by as much as 80 degrees. This engineering necessity what birthed the legendary face of the 1999 Nissan Skyline GTR R34. While it cost roughly $45,000 at launch, its status was cemented by that massive front bumper opening, designed specifically to feed the intercooler. That iconic tuner look wasn't a fashion statement, it was a tactical victory against physics. With a dedicated Stage 2 remap to orchestrate these parts, you aren't just gaining another 25% power, you're building a car that can sustain peak performance lap after lap, long after stock cars have overheated and retreated. Stage 3. Stage 3 is the moment you stop playing by the rules of the road and start building a monster. In the world of car culture, this is known as the big turbo era. If Stage 1 and 2 were like giving your car a better pair of running shoes and a deep breath, Stage 3 is like swapping its heart for a jet engine. This is the threshold where your daily driver stops being a normal car and starts becoming a supercar killer. We are talking about the kind of power that makes passengers grab the dashboard and forget how to breathe the moment the boost kicks in. The main event here is tossing the factory turbocharger into the scrap bin and bolting on a massive, high-performance unit from legendary brands like Garrett or Precision. These turbos are designed to move mountains of air, but they have a massive thirst to match. To keep the engine from literally melting under the pressure, you have to upgrade the plumbing. Specifically, larger fuel injectors and a beefier fuel pump. It's a violent, beautiful balance. More air requires more fuel, which results in an explosion of speed that feels like being launched out of a cannon. The coolest part about Stage 3 is its history. Back in 1993, when the Toyota Supra hit the streets with a $34,000 price tag, nobody knew it would become a legend. It was Stage 3 tuning that turned the 2JZ engine into a god. Because the engine was built so tough from the factory, owners discovered they could double the horsepower to 700 horsepower or more just by swapping the turbo without even opening the engine block. This transformed a sleek Japanese coupe into a beast that could humiliate a Ferrari on the highway. It's the reason why a clean Supra can cost over $150,000 today. It's not just a car, it's a legend of the tuner golden age. This level of power is addictive, making every highway on ramp feel like a scene from a movie. It honestly makes me wonder, if someone handed you a blank check in a garage tonight, which car would you choose to turn into a Stage 3 monster? Are you going for a screaming JDM icon like an R34 Skyline, or a sophisticated German sleeper like a BMW M3? Drop your dream build in the comments. I'm dying to see what kind of supercar slayer you'd create. Stage 4. Stage 4 is the surgical theater of the automotive world, where we move beyond simple bolt-on parts to rebuild the very DNA of the engine. At this level, the goal is bulletproofing. We are entering a territory where the combustion inside the cylinders becomes so violent that factory-made components would literally crumble like crackers. This is the realm of the engine build, a meticulous process where every moving part is replaced with race-grade materials to ensure the machine doesn't just run fast, but survives the fury it creates. The transformation centers on replacing soft cast iron or basic aluminum parts with forged internals. We swap factory pistons and connecting rods for heavy-duty versions forged under thousands of tons of pressure, capable of withstanding the force of a small explosion on every single stroke. To maximize this, we install high-profile camshafts that alter the engine's breathing rhythm, allowing valves to stay open longer for a massive intake of air. A fascinating take that most people miss is that this level of engineering mirrors the Lady 1998 Nissan R390 GT1. That car, which commanded a $1 million price tag, utilized a reinforced V8 designed with the exact same logic, making the internal metal so strong that it could survive 24 hours of straight redlining at Le Mans without a single hairline fracture. By the time a car reaches Stage 4, it has evolved into a mechanical titan. You might see a Nissan GTR or a Toyota Supra that looks unassuming at a stoplight, yet hides a reinforced billet internals capable of handling over 1,000 horsepower. This stage is a modern tribute to the over-engineering philosophy of the 1990s, where manufacturers built engines far stronger than they needed to be. In Stage 4, you aren't just a driver anymore. You are the commander of a high-pressure laboratory on wheels. It is an expensive, precision-focused journey that turns a standard engine into an immortal masterpiece of metal and fire, ready to handle levels of boost that would shatter a normal car into a million pieces. Stage 5. Stage 5 is the extreme frontier, where your car stops being a vehicle and starts becoming a specialized instrument of physics. At this level, the concept of a street car evaporates, replaced by a singular obsession conquering the drag strip. This is the realm of the quarter-mile executioner, where every modification is calculated to shave milliseconds off the clock. To achieve this, the machine undergoes a radical metamorphosis that prioritizes raw, violent acceleration over everything else, including comfort, air conditioning, and often common sense. The chemical warfare of Stage 5 is what truly sets it apart. While previous stages rely on high-octane pump gas, Stage 5 dives into the world of methanol or nitrous oxide, also known as NOS. Think of nitrous as canned oxygen. It provides an instant, neck-snapping kick of power that feels like being rear-ended by a freight train. This weight watching is so intense that builders will even swap glass windows for lightweight plastic just to save 40 or 50 lb. This mirrors the obsessive engineering of the 2018 Dodge Challenger SRT Demon, an 8495 beast that famously came with only one seat from the factory to maximize its power-to-weight ratio. The soul of Stage 5 lies in its incredible, short-lived intensity. These engines are tuned so aggressively that they might only live for a few seconds at a time before needing a full inspection. It is a world of parachutes to stop the car and specialized tires so soft and sticky that they can actually pick up small rocks from the pavement like Velcro. This legendary HK33 GTR, which in the late 1990s became the first all-wheel drive car to blast through a quarter-mile in under 7.6 seconds. In Stage 5, you aren't just driving, you are managing a controlled explosion. It's a high-stakes environment where the machine is pushed to its absolute breaking point to achieve a level of speed that few humans will ever get to feel. The swap stage. Entering the swap stage is when you decide to completely shed the past and start a rebellious new chapter. This is no longer about minor tweaks. It is a major surgical procedure aimed at redefining the car's entire identity. Instead of struggling to squeeze the last few drops of power out of a tired factory block that was never meant for high performance, enthusiasts choose to rip out the old heart and drop in a completely different, more aggressive beast. This audacity turns mundane commuters into street assassins, leaving everyone stunned when a thunderous roar erupts from under the hood of an unassuming everyday car. It is the ultimate expression of the built, not bought philosophy, proving that with enough creativity, the chassis is just a shell waiting for a new spirit. The most famous specialty in the swap world is the LS-V8 engine from General Motors. Compact, relatively affordable, and delivering over 400 to 600 horsepower in stock form, it has been stuffed into everything from two 400 lub Mazda Miatas to classic vintage Japanese frames. But this isn't just a trend for backyard hobbyists. Major manufacturers have historically used this strategy to dominate their rivals. One of the most fascinating stories in racing history is the 2001 BMW 3. To crush the competition in the American domain, scrapped its iconic straight-six engine and replaced it with a powerhouse 4.0 LP60 V8 producing nearly 450 horsepower. The car was so dominant and feared by other teams that officials literally changed the rules of the entire series just to ban it from competing. It remains the ultimate proof that a proper soul transfusion can turn a 2000 daily driver into mechanical titan capable of humiliating 500,000 supercars on any stretch of asphalt. Seeing an old, weathered chassis suddenly sporting the turbocharged lungs of a predator is a visceral, addictive experience for anyone who loves mechanics. It represents a level of freedom where you are no longer limited by what came from the factory floor. After walking through every stage together, from simple software flashes and exhaust upgrades to this final grand transformation, I'm sure a wild project is already starting to take shape in your mind. If you had the chance to pick one legendary engine, like a screaming 3.0 HAZ or a high-revving 2.2 LK20 to heart swap into your current ride, which one would you choose to shock the world? Drop those dream combinations in the comments. I'm dying to know what your ultimate Frankenstein build looks like. Thank you so much for riding along with me through this high-octane journey.